I'm doing here is I'm preparing to harvest my compost. It's been about 4 months now. I've had this worm bin for about 3 years. And today I thought it'd be really fun to have over some neighborhood kids. What I'm doing here in preparation for them coming over, which they're going to help me hand pick the worms, is that I'm taking the castings, which is the worm compost, and I'm moving it into a smaller case, so ahead of them being here, I can create a new home for the worms, which after a while, they just don't live well in their castings. You have to create an environment where they can have air and the right amount of moisture and the right amount of food, and that's what I'm doing here now. To recreate a home for them, I'm putting in the basics of a worm bin, which are newspaper, shredded newspaper, which is my favorite. It's a very simple process. You use black and white newspaper. You can have some color, but it's got to be nothing glossy. That doesn't work. See how I'm making a new area for them? This was a new area, and within a couple of weeks' time, it went from this to looking like this because the worms are starting to eat and do their work again. I'm going to be spraying a little bit of water on top of this just to make it damp, as much as a damp sponge. And then I'm going to add the worms, which will be about, I don't know, maybe 500 of them, we'll see. And 500 to 1,000, because that's about how much goes into this kind of a bin. And then I'm going to add this food in there that I'm going to bury, which is what they eat, organic waste that I'm not throwing in the garbage anymore. It's like our coffee grounds, which is great. They love them. Eggshells, which usually I grind up just a little bit more. I also would cut these too, but this is an example of an apple peel or a core, some melon, some celery, and they really love the the banana peels, except the paper on here is a no-no. I'm going to have to remove that. And I'm going to take all these castings, which is the worm compost, I'm going to put it on the table into piles, and then we're going to harvest the worms, which means that I'm going to have the kids sit here with the piles and go for a little bit of a worm scavenger hunt. And we're going to use the flashlights to put on to make the worms go to the bottom, because the worms do not like the light. They do not have eyes, actually, but they have a sensitivity to light. They like dark places. You keep it a top on the top, and you punch holes in so the air can go in, and then you feed them. Depending upon how many worms you have, every couple of days, or some people once a week. They're not like a pet you have to pay a lot of attention to, but you do need to pay attention to it. And then in about 3 to 4 months' time, it's happening to me today, it's time to harvest. The big worm migration! I am an urban gardener, and I'm a vermicomposter, and I'm a composter. And I think that vermicomposting is really fun, and it's very good for the planet, because these worms, guess what they do? They're called red wrigglers. They reduce our garbage, they reuse it in their bodies, and then they recycle it back into my bin so I can put it back into the earth so that my plants grow better. Each of you are going to get a flashlight. What'll happen here is because of the bright lights here, and when you put the lights onto the piles of the compost, the worms are going to go to the bottom, and then we'll be able to find them. And so what we're going to do is that we're going to take the worms, and one by one, we're going to pick them out, we're going to put them right on here, and then I am going to put them in their new home, because their old home was too messy. When I'm talking about worms eating my garbage, which is what is happening, is they're eating the scraps from our table that normally would decompose. See, we're getting our hands dirty, but this isn't dirt. This is worm compost. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to create their new home, and I'm going to spray it a little bit because it needs to be about as wet as a damp sponge. I'm going to take the worms and I'm going to put them in here, okay, in their new home. And here I'm giving them their food, so they've got new food to eat. And look at this, Henry. See how they're at the top, and then where are they going?
Down.
They're going down to the bottom, because why?
Because there's food down the bottom.
There's food down there, and then why else? They do not like light.
Hey, worms, where are you?
So do you guys think that you would have fun doing this at home?
Yeah.
Gives me the shivers.
Yeah, it smells bad. It smells like worms. I just scared one before. I can't feel it.
Okay.
Oh, he just ran away because my light.
Do you have any ideas of why it's good to have worms and eat your garbage in your basement?
I'll think about it.
You're going to think about it? Okay.
What do them eat?
What do they eat? I put it in, but what they do, come here and look. They eat like banana peels.
Sorry, I was looking.
And you see the stuff on the bottom? They eat banana peels. They eat leftover lettuce. If you've got some peels from any kind of vegetable that you might throw into the garbage, they'll eat. I think that when you garden with friends, it's more fun. Wow, thanks to Tara and her kids, Harry, Henry, and Lyra, we've harvested all this wonderful worm compost, and we have migrated these guys, the red wriggler worms, about hundreds and hundreds of them, I don't know, back into a new environment with fresh bedding and a new space that they can dirty up again, so in 3 months I can harvest the compost again. The thing to remember about vermicomposting is that it's fun. It's also good for the planet because it incorporates the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Thank you for coming into Deb's Big Backyard, and I'll see you next time.